As a life success coach, I work with people to create what they want for themselves in their lives, and we do that with clarity, focus, intentionality, and velocity. If you have any questions about the coaching process, or if you would like to schedule a free half-hour telephone coaching session, please feel free to call the number on the screen at any time, 609-689-9063. As well as being passionate about life coaching, I'm also passionate about people, finding out what makes them tick, what their passions are, what their issues are, and sharing their experiences. So my guest today is Thom Reaves. Welcome, Thom.
Thank you.
Thom is an artist, and I'm just going to read a little bit about him because he has a very impressive resume. So Thom's most noted artistic works are his poster-style paintings and commissioned graphic portrait paintings, reminiscent of the poster's golden age, mixed with pop sensibility and the slight edge of the modern. So his work basically has the feel of a retro poster, but with some modern edginess. Additionally, Thom has designed a series of business card holders and pens, the Happy series, actually, for Acme Studio in Hawaii. He designed and painted a room at the trendy 50s era art hotel, The Creek in Miami Beach. Unfortunately, it has since been demolished, but the paintings were gorgeous, spectacular, creative. He has designed drinkware for Ritzenhoff, a German company, a series of posters for a Canadian publishing company, and last year he was one of 12 artists chosen to paint a violin for Art Strings, a fundraiser for the New Jersey Symphony. So that's quite a lot, and it's not everything.
Right.
So we're going to start out just by showing a couple of your paintings, talking a little bit about them, and then we're just going to talk a little bit about that creative process, what your obstacles are, what your successes are, okay?
Sure.
So let's start with this painting. It's quite vivid, and it is, can you just say a little bit about that? Like, what inspired that painting?
Sure. What is not normally noticed immediately is that the two L's in the Campbell Soup label represent the Twin Towers in New York. And I did this painting just after September 11th, and I felt as an artist I wanted to say something about the event.
Right.
And actually still I'm not really sure what I was saying, but I had to express that somehow.
Right.
So what it shows is the Twin Towers, which are represented by the two L's in Campbell's, and there's a plane heading for it. I've gotten a lot of different responses from it. People have taken offense to it and thought I was making a joke of it, whereas some people, I had one person that actually jumped about 2 feet backwards when he realized what it was. He was standing up close to it, and so it was really interesting to see the reaction.
Yeah, so it was not making fun of anything, and here's another one, but a way of expressing something that was almost inexpressible.
Yes.
Having to say something, and being an artist, what would be the most natural way to do that?
Yes, that
Yeah.
was why.
Yeah, thank you. I think they're both very powerful.
Thank you.
So behind you is, this is pen and ink?
Yes, pen and ink.
And I mean, how long did it take you to do that? It's exquisite.
Honestly, I don't remember. They usually take about 80 hours or so from the pencil to doing the actual piece.
Yes.
And this was part of a series. I like to do my works in a series, and this was the Cinderella series. I intended to do 12, but I only got through 3 of them. This was the 3rd piece of them, and I wanted to address Disney in some way. I said, if you're going to do Cinderella, you have to address Disney, but I didn't want to draw a picture of someone else's animation.
Right.
So about that time, Disney had just come out with a live-action Cinderella, where the music star Brandy, she played Cinderella, and so I bought the movie, and I used that as the inspiration for the picture.
Now, you said to me earlier that that's one of your favorites. Why is that?
All of the work that went into it, and it's kind of compact. It really represents what I love doing. You know, I love illustrating pictures of things, and Cinderella happens to be my favorite fairy tale.
Oh, that's
Always
great.
was, yeah.
That's great. I'm just going to hold up a sample of another, and this, again, is quite different.
Yes.
And this was part of a series called what?
Joie.
Joie, which
Yeah.
means joy?
Yes, in French.
Yeah.
And I don't speak French, but I get told that my work.
It's quite wonderful. It's
looks
very
French.
whimsical and
Yes.
kind of delightful.
And there's really no meaning
Right.
behind it. There's, you know, the woman here and up front, and then there's a guy skating in the background. Really didn't mean anything, but it's just there to make you feel good. when you
Yeah.
look at it.
So when you paint, do you normally paint with a meaning in mind or looking to represent something, or does it just kind of evolve?
I'd say it kind of evolves. My intention with my work, I mean, this is my personal belief, is that my artwork, besides just being expression for myself, it's there to uplift people. I want people to really feel good when they look at my work. I don't want my work to be a downer. I don't want it to be depressing. So that's always in the back of my mind when I do a piece. So it really evolves out of that.
Great, because this is a perfect time to show some samples, and I hope we can see them, of that kind of making people feel good. It's kind of playful and expressive, and there's a play on words, sveltines. Yeah, so this happens to be one of my favorites. And then, now this comes out of a series of Trenton-based art, yes?
Yes, yes. I came up with an imaginary company named the Trento Manufacturing Company. And apparently Trento makes absolutely everything imaginable.
Yes.
And so every product that I make up is a play on words, and it has some variant of the word Trento or Trenti or Trenta, something in it. And I do these advertising posters for these products, whether it be wine
and they don't
or
exist,
crackers.
right?
Exactly.
That's great.
Exactly.
And what is this? This says Celebration.
It is a magazine. I'm not sure if it's still in circulation, but it was a magazine that promoted events. It was a lot of advertising, you know, for people that do events and weddings and things like that. And I was hired to do different covers for them.
You know, the truth is, it's all, there's something joyful and exuberant about all of it. Now, this is the pork roll series. Tell me a little bit about the pork roll history, because I'm not from New Jersey or Trenton, or is it Philadelphia phenomenon? Where does pork roll originate?
Well, a lot of people don't know that pork roll was invented in Trenton, New Jersey by Taylor. A lot of people...
That's pretty scary.
Yes, and I think I just came up with it somehow. I said I wanted to do something with pork roll. So I came up with this character, Pork Roll Baby. And I started doing the Pork Roll Baby in all these different garbs and fashions. And
you actually have a pork roll coloring book, yes?
Yes, I do. I had actual three-dimensional stuffed pork roll babies made up as well.
That's great.
Which did very well too.
And this one is now you're starting a Bucks County, yes?
Yes, Bucks County. Another imaginary company, Bucksco Mills, or the Bucksco Factory, whichever it's called. And I have a show coming up which is going to showcase a lot of those works, as well as some others. But
okay, great. And this is the last one. This is for a Canadian company, yes?
Yes, Canadian Art Prints, which I am doing a series of posters for. Those two are part of the Coffee series. Now, those are the first editions that I did that are not being used, so I'm still working on the finals for them. But those are pictures of the actual paintings that I did first. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I could see having these hanging up in cafes, in homes, in They're absolutely wonderful. They are reminiscent of, you know, the poster era when, you know, everybody had these wonderful posters hanging in their, framed posters in their homes.
Right.
Okay, so now I want to talk to you, like, tell me a little bit about the creative process for you. Like, is this something you always wanted to do? Has it evolved for you? Did you, like, suddenly, you know, at the age of 6 say, this is it, I'm an artist?
As far back as I remember, I wanted to be an artist. In some way, I wanted to be an artist. And whenever we would go on trips or anything, I had a pencil and a piece of paper. I mean, I always had to have it, and I was always drawing something. I still have saved paper dolls that I made. I used to copy the newscasters on television.
Wow.
And I used to collect comic books, so I used to do a lot of superheroes. And
Did your parents encourage it?
Yes, always.
Oh, that's great.
Very encouraging.
Are they artistic? Are your sisters and brothers, brother artistic?
My father is, I think I get it directly from my father.
Yes?
Yeah, he's very creative, also always making things, and yeah, he's a wonderful man.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, if looking back on everything you've done so far, is there anything you're most proud of?
Wow. The fact that I've kept going.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's not just one thing, but, you know, it can be hard. It can be really difficult. And I've had some tough times, you know, through it all, but I've kept going. And I've had a lot of encouragement. And I think that's what I'm proud of, is that I'm still going strong and still growing and maturing as an artist and as a person. And I really hope that my work is showing that as I go along.
Yeah, yeah. Now, when you say, you know, there were tough times, say more about that.
Well, last year I was diagnosed with bipolar illness, and it's something that I've had since I was a teenager. I can remember some serious episodes that I had when I was a teenager, but not thinking that there was anything to it. I didn't think it was an illness. I just thought that I was always a moody person. And
so it showed up for you as moody?
Yes. And I would 1 second be fine, and then all of a sudden it's like a shade, somebody was pulling down a shade, and my whole mood would drop, and I'd want to be left alone, and I just didn't want to deal with anything, and you know, it was kind of.
And would it last for long periods of time?
Sometimes it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, did you consider yourself? I mean, as a teenager, there's enough to deal with as it is.
Right.
So, did you consider yourself at the time like there was something different about you, or odd, or you just assumed you were a moody kid?
I think that I felt different than everybody, and that was rough. And it wasn't until it got so bad that I started contemplating suicide from a depression that became, you know, when I went into the hospital for a while, we realized that there was something up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you became suicidal or felt suicidal.
Yes.
Now, was it like, you know, some people talk about feeling suicidal because something terrible happened. What would there be things that happened, or would it just be like this black cloud kind of, you know, covering your world, or walking in black rain? Or
it was along the lines of the black cloud. Like I said, a shade being pulled down, and it would come, you know, it would come upon me very quickly, and I ended up staying in it. And
so, you don't mind my asking you?
Not at all.
So when you say it came on very quickly, like a matter of hours, days, what?
Like this.
In a minute.
You know, just
wow.
Yeah.
That's
just
pretty scary.
Mood changes.
And how long would your depression last, typically, or if there is such a thing?
It could last for a couple days, but the one that put me in the hospital went on for a few weeks, and it got so bad where I started hearing things, started hearing static in my head. It sounded like a combination of static on a radio being turned up really loud absolutely. And being in a stadium with, you know, 1 million people yelling.
Wow.
You know, and it was
Frightening.
24/7.
Would you sleep during this period of time?
That was the only time I felt some relief, was during sleep.
And is this now, and you didn't know what was going on?
Right.
Is this, in retrospect, and having learned what you've learned about bipolar disease, is it called?
Illness.
Bipolar illness. Is this a common phenomenon that happens?
What,
The noise, the static, the...
I think it's different for different
Everybody.
people. Yeah.
So explain a little. Okay, so explain a little about what bipolar illness is. Is it a chemical imbalance? Is it...
They say it's an imbalance with serotonin and epinephrine that in your brain, the chemicals that your brain produces. So you can have not enough of it, or
So it's not anything you do.
Exactly. It's not a moral character or anything, because people think with depression, which is the one part of bipolar, and mania is the other part of bipolar. But when you have depression, people say you're just lazy, or you just you know, you don't want to do anything. You can lay around and just do nothing. And people look at that and they look at it negatively. But in reality, you can't. You know, you can't do anything. I don't really know how to describe it any other way. Whereas the mania, as an artist, was totally different. The mania felt really good. I'd come up with an idea, and it was the best idea in the world, and then I'd go and paint, and I could paint for hours and hours and hours.
So like the creative juices had
Yes.
an opportunity, like, woohoo, here I am, and yeah.
Yeah, now, and now, I mean, I take medicine for it, so it's kind of calmed me down, moved me towards the center, so I don't get those big bursts anymore, and I don't get the lows that go along with the highs, you know?
Yeah. Do you miss the highs?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not enough to stop taking medicine, because I never want to go into the lows again.
Yeah, yeah. And I know at some point you had some concern about, like, am I going to be able to be as creative?
Yes. Yeah, I was really worried about that. And it's a process also, learning how to be differently.
Yeah. So your creativity hasn't gone anywhere.
No, it hasn't.
It's just managing it.
Yes, and it's actually helped me to be more focused and more productive. Because one thing about mania is that the person experiencing it may feel like it's the best idea in the world. He may feel like he's being really productive, but in reality, what other people perceive is not the same thing, and it shows that there's an unfocusedness about the person, and the person can bounce from one thing to another.
Right.
And nothing really gets done, you know, even though the person experiencing it thinks that it is.
Yeah, so your experience is, I have all these fabulous ideas, and I'm doing things, and some of it occurs like a dust storm. A lot of dust, a lot of action, but no results.
Right, right.
Yeah. So, how was your family in all this?
My family was great. I have the most supportive family in the world, and they were the ones that really helped bring me through it. You know, them and my faith in God. You know, and they were the ones that were there for me. And it was actually my mother that said, "Honey, you need to go to the hospital." You know, it was when I had these visions of death and gloom, and it was
How
her
frightening
that
for
really,
them too.
Yeah, yeah, it really was, because they didn't know what was going on either.
And did they actually think that they would lose you? Was there a time where they thought that it would go that far?
Well, it almost did. I actually did attempt to commit suicide when back in '91, when I felt that my world fell apart. And actually, the depression that I was in at that time wasn't as severe as it was this time, but I think I took the easy way, tried to take the easy way out the last time, whereas this time I really resisted, and I was very open with my family about what I was going through, and they knew that I was having a hard time. So because of that, I wasn't alone. I didn't feel as alone as I could have felt.
That's quite brilliant, because it would have been easy to kind of, you know, implode.
Yes.
But to bring your family in and let them know what was going on. And I think when I listen to you, what I get is how it must have been a relief to then have a name to put to it.
Yes. As soon as I started learning about what the illness was and what the symptoms were, it's like, wow, that's why I did that. That's why I felt this way for all this time, and that's why, you know, my moods have gone up and down, and, you know, people thought I was weird in different situations or whatever.
And that's a lot of years to live with that kind of confusion, not having a name for it, thinking there's something wrong with you, and you know, different, terminally unique, as I call it.
Right.
And so what was the process, the healing process?
I had to go through 6 weeks of a program at the hospital. It was an outpatient program called Milestones, which was wonderful.
What hospital was that?
Hellingfold, or Capital Health at Hellingfold. And it was an excellent program, and I'd go there every day, and they would teach me about the illness, teach me about the medications. This is what they do, this is what they don't do, this is how important it is to take them. But it also taught me life skills, how to cope, coping skills, how to get through every day, how when you feel a depression going on or coming on, don't feed into a lot of things. Don't feed into things that are going to tell you that your world's a mess when it's not really a mess. You know, because all of that adds into a big spiral that you can a lot of times control.
Yeah. You know, that's amazing, because one of my favorite quotes, and I've actually said it on this program before, I heard someone say, no thought lives in your head rent-free. It's either going to bankrupt you or empower you and enrich you, you know? So what you're saying is that you have some control, that they're teaching you that you have some control of where your thoughts go.
Yes.
That the depression may start to come, but then you can choose to either follow that or not.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, because I think it's, you know, it's so amazing because you're so talented and so creative, and I think it's so useful for other people to hear that, you know, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
And that a diagnosis doesn't mean you're a failure or defective or whatever. It's like anything else, and it's manageable. And here you are, before diagnosis, creative, talented, whatever. After diagnosis, same.
Yes.
Except now you feel like you're managing your life and controlling it.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's great. I know we only have a few minutes left, so before I go on to any other questions, I just want to let people know that you are having an art show in New Hope, and there is an art show opening. So it's wine and cheese and an opening of a show.
And maybe some pork roll.
And maybe some pork roll. And it's a gallery with one room where a number of artists will be represented, and in another room, just Thom's work, yes?
Right, right.
And so it's from 6 to 9 p.m. on Saturday, December 10th, in New Hope, at the J&W Gallery, 20 West Bridge Street in New Hope, Pennsylvania, and their phone number is 215-862-5119. Again, Saturday, December 10th from 6 to 9 at the J&W Gallery in New Hope. And before we move on, I just want to say, if you want to reach Thom, you know, either to talk to him about his artwork or to commission him to do some artwork, you can reach him at 609-989-9824 or by email at Fauntleroy, Fauntleroy 66 at yahoo.com. Or in a pinch, you can call the studio and ask us here, and we'll be able to put you in touch with him. So let me think if there was something else. I'm sure there are a million questions I wanted to ask you. What's your biggest obstacle?
Sometimes it's feeling that I'm not good enough. Feeling that my work needs to be validated all the time. I always have these insecurities about my work. So I'll be in the middle of a painting and I have to show somebody, what do you think, what do you think? I still go through that. So that's an obstacle. And you know, and it's part of the process.
Yes.
For me, it's
I
just
think
how I
it's
am.
part of humanity. I mean, you know, we all have it to varying degrees.
Mm-hmm.
For you, it's much more confronting because you have something out there that
Right.
you're actually presenting to the world.
Right.
Yeah, I think that I don't think I've ever talked to any artist where they didn't have that issue. It's not quite good enough. I could have done it better. I haven't quite achieved what I wanted to achieve, and looking for validation and approval. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, you know, one of the ways to get validation and approval is by having people say they love it and buying your paintings. So it's probably not ever going to go away.
Right, right.
It's like anything else, learning to manage it, you know?
You have to get to a point as an artist where you say, you know what, it doesn't really matter if a person loves it or hates it, because art is one of those things that people are going to love or they're going to hate. I just have to be okay with the fact that I did it, and it is what it is after I've finished it.
And clearly, you know, this is not something that is like something you took on superficially. It's really your self-expression. It's really who you are as a human being. So, you know, just giving yourself over to the process and the joy of the process is probably will be your saving grace.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have only about 30 seconds left. I want to thank you. It's been great. I want to again mention to everybody out there, Saturday, December 10th from 6 to 9 at the J&W Gallery. Come, wine and cheese and wonderful art. And you can call 215-862-5119 for further information. Thank you for listening, and welcome to our next show tomorrow night. And since I won't be on until next week, I would like to wish everybody wonderful holidays, happy Thanksgiving.